Good morning and welcome to Elections Update, where we will be giving you an insight into elections 2013.
On today's show, we'll be having interviews with the President, David Franklin, about his position in the Guild, and also producer Sumner, who'll be telling us a bit about the presidential debate. Hello, I'm Josh Paley-Lamonge.
And I'm Katharine Walker.
Coming up on today's show, we'll be talking to David Franklin about the presidential position and what the role requires.
As head of the Guild, he is in charge of a massive corporation with an annual turnover of 4.3 million students.
Yes, it's a huge responsibility both for candidates and for voters to make sure that the right person is chosen for the job.
That's why over the last few years, the media groups have got together to host a presidential debate, giving you a chance to unpick the candidates' manifestos and have a look at what their policies really mean.
But before all that, let's take a look at what's been happening on campus yesterday.
Hi, I'm Lauren Dickenson and I'm here again on campus for Guild TV. As you can see, the campus is busy with candidates giving out flyers, giving out sweets. I'll be interviewing some of the candidates today, so stay tuned.
Campaign is going brilliantly. Yeah, I just love chatting to people. We did some door knocking last night.
We've got 3 or 4 Indiana Jones walking around, you know. I think they count for about 100 songs.
It's going really well. It's intense, but it's fun.
So you think wisely about your decision because it all counts. I'm going to be back on Monday with some more interviews with the candidates, but for now, back to the studio with Katharine and Josh.
Thank you very much, Lauren. It seems the campaigns are well underway and the competition is definitely hotting up.
But I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen that there's been a bit of vandalism over the past couple of days.
It is a shame because we know the candidates are working so hard and we don't want to see all that time and effort being put to waste.
However, on a lighter note, we're joined by the President David Franklin, who'll just be answering a few of our questions.
Hello David, and thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Morning.
So, having been through the campaigning process yourself, what do you think about all the vandalism that's happening on campus?
It's really upsetting actually. The spirit of the elections, if they're positive, if they're fun, then it gets more people interested, candidates are having a good time, more people will vote, and it's just great. Unfortunately, there are some people who, perhaps for right or wrong reasons, decide that they don't want to engage with elections, but go further and put candidates at a disadvantage. Yeah. I was in that position myself last year following sports night. Anybody who saw me that morning would have seen I was a very broken man.
What did you experience?
Well, there were people going around breaking up cardboard. I had various items stolen, including my banner, which was in front of the library. And it's difficult because you do put a lot of effort in, but unfortunately you leave it out at your own risk, and that's either vandals, that's the rain, all sorts of things.
I mean, so how much time, does it take for you to, paint these massive banners and do all the cardboard signs?
Well, I spent absolutely hours, but I was fortunate enough to have quite a large campaign team. My heart especially goes out to those who've got smaller teams who, at this stage, might find it difficult to get back to the stage they were at.
So just going on to what the actual presidential position is and sort of, tell a little bit about what you actually do.
Well, every day is completely different, as you might expect. But it is a very different role from the vice presidential roles. I sometimes joke to James Robertson or Ollie that I'm quite jealous. They've got set constituencies, whether it's student groups, residents associations, and so on, because it enables them to spend a lot of time down on the ground, out on campus with students. Now, quite often I'm locked away in meetings, and these meetings tend to be quite a lot to do with strategies, either of the Guild or the university. So I spend a lot of my time thinking about things that are 2, 3, 4 years in the future that I won't even be here to see, which is very challenging. Sometimes you just want to be talking about putting things in places, running events and doing things that you will see straight away.
I mean, that's something that's come up on the show before, the fact that even if you try really hard, sometimes things you want to achieve, can't happen for years in the future. So, how does that feel for you?
I think such large institutions as the university, but also the Guild to some extent, are notorious for being quite bureaucratic and slow-moving. Change is not the easiest thing to bring to somewhere like this campus. but you do what you can. And for me as a candidate, I tried to set out policies that I knew I would be able to achieve. And I'm pleased to say at this stage the vast majority of them have been achieved.
So do you have any fond memories of your campaigning times? Do you have any tips for the ones coming up?
I've got some fond memories and some not so fond ones. Stay conscious, definitely. Look after yourself, be healthy, enjoy it. It is an up and down ride, and make sure that you've got people there to support you when it's down.
Brilliant. There's some very wise words, but I'm afraid that's all we have time for. So thank you very much for joining us today, David.
Pleasure.
Okay. Not a lot of people are actually wanting to get involved in voting. So does this mean that candidates are having to target more at people that possibly aren't as involved with the Guild?
And are the Guild itself trying hard enough to reach marginal students?
Yeah, so we joined Lynch, who's been exploring student representation and engagement in the elections.
Last year, less than a quarter of students voted in the Guild officer elections.
When it comes to Guild elections, there is clearly a silent majority. But this poses a serious question. If less than a quarter of students vote in the elections, does the Guild of Students really represent the student population? Does the Guild invest enough energy and time to ensure that this silent majority are given a voice and fair representation?
I don't want to be horrible, but I don't think the Guild represents the medics at all. We feel very isolated in our little building. We don't get to come to the main campus very often. And I'm not sure if there is a medic representative in the Guild or anything like that.
Such a minority of people taking on such a lot of diverse views and certain things that they try to push through. I don't know how much they take into account like everyone's views.
I think it does. I don't really know much about it though.
As a student at the University of Birmingham, you're automatically made a member of the Guild of Students. But unfortunately, for a long time now, the ratio between membership and engagement has been long unbalanced, shrouding the innermost workings of the Guild in mystery for most.
The question of whether the Guild represents the student population is not new, and some initiatives have been employed to encourage students to engage with Guild politics. In particular, Red Brick and Guild TV go to great efforts to ensure that everyone has access to Guild Council. But this has largely been a student initiative. Have the sabbatical officers got any plans to tackle this growing problem?
I think the Guild does represent students adequately. I think the problem is that students aren't engaged with the Guild. We have over 200 student groups. We publicise the elections really widely. All of the SABs come from different backgrounds, different courses. The problem is that we, for some reason, cannot engage students. I think the officers need to be out there more. I think the problem is we're too busy, and so are the non-SABs. But if we could get ourselves out there speaking to students more often, I think it would do more. We try and use social media as much as possible, but maybe try and get more of the students that aren't engaged on our social media.
No doubt, only a small number of students will watch the elections with interest. But if every student engages with their Guild and votes for who they want to represent them, then surely the result will be a win-win for everyone. There are over 28,000 students at the University of Birmingham, all with different backgrounds, interests and opinions. But
Thank you very much,
less than a
Claire.
quarter of students voted in the Guild officer elections.
When it comes to Guild elections, there is clearly a silent majority. But this poses a serious question. If less than a quarter of students vote in the elections, does the Guild of Students really represent the student population? Does the Guild invest enough energy and time to ensure that this silent majority are given a voice?
Thank you very much, Claire. And I think the message we need to learn from there is that people need to try as hard as possible to engage with the Guild.
Yeah, and that's why the media plays such a big role in allowing people to engage with elections, but from the comfort of their own home.
So now we're going to talk to the producer of the presidential debate and get a greater insight into the role that the media play. So hello Rob, and thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me on.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the presidential debate and what it actually is?
The presidential debate is happening tomorrow, Saturday 2nd of March at 5 p.m. It's a chance for the presidential candidates to get their views and their manifestos and their opinions across to the electorate so they can engage with the people who will be voting for them so they can try and get as many votes as possible.
So how can people get involved, if they wanted to ask a question or if they wanted to come along?
If you want to ask a question, head over to www.guildelections.co.uk/debate and there's a form on there which you fill out, and submissions for the questions, they close today at 12 p.m. So we need to name that.
We've been talking a bit on the other shows about media collaboration. Is this another instance of, media groups at the Guild working together?
Yes, very much so. Chris, who was on yesterday, has designed the Guild Elections website and has been very much involved in embedding all the streams on there. So it's really helpful for us from Guild TV who want to live broadcast stuff on there. So we'll be live broadcasting it on that website as well. And we're collaborating with Nick Williams, who's station manager at Burn, who's chairing their debate. So it's a good collaboration again.
Excellent. So you think this is a really important thing to have the sort of media collaborations come together? Because of course, before it was 3 separate, websites. Why is it so important that we can bring it all together?
Well, there's not that much difference between media these days. Most media cover most things, like they have the radio, they all have a website, they all have a television station. It's better to keep them more rounded rather than have separate ones which all try and compete with each other. It's better for the Guild if we collaborate better.
So we've been talking a little bit about engagement and representation. So do you think airing and streaming this presidential debate is one way to help get out there and let students know what's going on?
Yeah, very much so. If people can't attend the event or themselves or don't know much about the Guild, then they can, with the YouTube live stream and the upload that will be up on after, they can watch it for themselves and they don't actually have to attend the event, so they get plenty of time and plenty of opportunity to look at different ways of watching and engaging.
Social media, as well as the sort of big media centres, is also important. Are there any ways that they can get involved with the presidential debate through social media?
We have a Facebook event, so if you would like to come along, click attending to that. It's on our guildtv.co.uk. It'll redirect you to the website and you can find it on there. And if you want to submit a question, we're on guildelections.co.uk.
So obviously the presidential debate isn't the only way people can engage. So can you tell us a little bit more about the other events that are going on, some of the other things that the media groups have been doing?
We, Guild TV, have 3 more live shows which we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we have our results night on Saturday, which we'll be going live from, and it should be very good fun.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time, Rob, and thanks for coming along.
Thank you.
I'm afraid that wraps up another elections update.
But yes, don't forget to watch the presidential debate, which is happening Saturday at 5. You can watch it on www.guildelections.co.uk.
And if you still aren't sure who your candidates are, then make sure to tune into the website and have a look at our 60-second profiles.
I'm Josh Petty-Demonge.
And I'm Katharine Walker. This has been your elections update.
Thanks for watching.